Today, I want to chat about feelings. How many of us are actually feeling comfortable to share how we feel, and how many of us are not so comfortable with us? And think about it, and also try to think and see if you feel comfortable to share with certain people versus other people. If you're comfortable to share when it's around your business, or maybe only with friends and family, or maybe the opposite. Because feelings is something very important. A lot of the time, we really tend to ignore them and avoid dealing with them. And that's why we're not even sharing or saying what we think, what we feel, and especially when you've got your own business, and in general, actually, in everything in life, right? We need to learn to speak out and say how we feel. But if you're really trying to build your business and get somewhere, you need to learn to speak out and share how you feel, what's going on, and sharing how you feel. It's not only like to share. Let's say you've got a business partner, so you do need to share with him how you feel about certain things that he's doing, um, and share about feelings that you have maybe with some clients that may be not doing things in certain ways, and there's a certain gap there that you want to close. But as well, to share feelings with the people around you, to tell them how you feel when it's not that easy with your business, or how to feel when someone is annoying you, or how, like, whatever it's going on in your head. And I think the first thing, and it's super important, is to actually be okay with how I feel. Get comfortable with us. Get comfortable with the fact that it's okay to have a certain type of feelings. We're all human beings. We all experiencing things. We all like going through a certain situation that get us to feel in a certain way. Sometimes it's a feel of anger, sometimes you're sad, sometimes you're happy. But all of this you really need to learn to express. Um, and sometimes it's more easy to express the positive type of feeling versus the more like negative like side of it, of like being angry, getting hurt, and disagreement and things like that. But we do need to learn to share it, because eventually it's something we need to work on, because you cannot only share your feelings uh, with those you feel comfortable with, or just with those that you maybe don't feel comfortable with. If we can get this and we will improve in doing this, we will be able to improve our all type of relationships, um, our business relationships, our personal relationships. It's going to help us to improve our communication, and something that is very important. And I think especially like if I look at the journey of becoming entrepreneur, you really learn to speak out and say, because if you're not going to do it, no one else will do it for you. You cannot count on someone else to say things for you, and you really need to put it out there. And you cannot go through this journey without having any type of support, which is something that I keep repeating, because it is like, I don't think no one can actually do things by himself all the time. We all need a type of support, whether it's a financial support, or it's a support of just something that will give us the good word that we're doing things, the right way, and they're saying that they love us, like all this. We really need it. Um, and we need to keep in mind that, like, if we're not going to share as well with other people how we feel on a certain situation, people are not mind readers. Okay, how can they know? A lot of time, um, we are asking certain questions, we sharing certain things, and then we don't get the answer from the other side, but the other side responding to what he understand, he or she, right? But if we're not very clear with how we feel and how what's going on there, so they cannot understand it, and they will not see what you're trying to get them to. There's going to be a certain gap, and especially when you're trying to build your own brand. That's why I've always said it's super important to niche out and to find the right niche for your business. Because if you find like people that share some values as you, have a similar mindset to you, it means that you can understand each other. It means that you will be able to say something and they will get it. And there's not going to be a big gap between the two of you, and the gap between their expectations to your deliveries. Because if there is a big gap over there, that can really destroy your brand, because it means that people won't understand you. You will say that you are committing to X, and they will understand that you actually committed to Y. And especially with social media and on the online presence, it's so easy and so fast that people can just say things out there about how they feel about your product slash service, and very easily to destroy it. So you really need to be clear around this, right? And I guess, like, on the business side, you can really work on choosing, the relevant clients and the people you want to work with. You can choose your partner that you want to work with. You can choose the suppliers you want to work with. Although yes, in the beginning, for a lot of businesses, because they are on certain type of survival mode, which they're trying just to get money in so they can pay for rent and like all other expenses. So they don't necessarily have the option to choose, but it is important to choose. And yes, on like family side, we're not choosing. We were kind of born to a certain family, so we need to really learn to deal with things. And even in a partnership, we really need to learn to communicate with each other. And part of communication is actually to share how we feel, and remember that people are not mind readers. We really need to learn to tell them how we feel, but also when we are sharing how we feel, it's important to use the words I feel and not to use the words you make me feel. So you won't come to a client or to your partner in the business and say, you make me feel XYZ. You make me feel angry. You make me feel annoyed. You made me feel happy. You made me feel. You will say, I feel like this. Because when you say I feel, no one can argue because it's your feeling. By you saying you make me feel, it's kind of you putting a certain type of blame, okay? And you putting kind of the responsibility of the feeling on that specific person. And again, it doesn't matter if it's a good feeling or a bad feeling. Like, it's you putting all the weight on that person. And you don't want to do it, right? Because eventually it's it's us who decide how we are feeling for a certain thing, how we reacting to a certain situation. It's our decision. So it's my decision to get hurt. It's my decision to get annoyed. It's my decision as well. It's your decision. So really work on phrasing yourself the right way and make sure that you explain that it's how you feel. Because when you say how you feel, no one can argue with us. But if you're going to come and say that it's how I made you feel, then it's open for discussion. Then you open it for this part of saying, like, that, wait, I didn't mean to act like this. I didn't mean you to feel like this. It wasn't my responsible. It's not my fault. You get that other person to kind of be on a defense mode, which is not something that you want. And that's why it's very important to pay attention to the wording we use. Um, and also important, like, to figure it out what we're asking, like, when we are sharing the feelings, like what are trying to get out of it, to bring out of it from sharing the feelings. So if you share it with a business partner, so why are you sharing those feelings with that person? Where are you trying to get your business to with them? If you decide to share it with a certain client that maybe crossed the line in something they've asked or in the way they reacted, you need to share it. But also, before you share it, make sure you know exactly what's the final outcome that you're trying to lead to, right? So you will know how to explain yourself, how to express yourself. And that's also important. And again, the same advice goes for like relationship. If you want to share with someone how you feel, think about like what you're trying to have the final outcome. Because again, if I'll take it again business wise, and in everything, right? It's like it's all about the message. What's your message? What you're trying to put out there. If you're not clear to yourself, how can you expect the other person to understand what you want? If you're not clear with your message, how do you expect your potential clients, potential followers to know what it's all about and come to you, right? Again, in a relationship, that like romantic one, you really need to learn to know what you're trying to get. What's the purpose of it? Don't just share feelings from the side, like, oh, like I got hurt and like I just want to hurt you to make you feel bad because you hurt me, kind of style. You want to share because you are trying to get something better and to improve that situation. Um, and when you share your feelings, trust that other person that he will reciprocate, that he will respond to you. And if he doesn't respond the way you were looking for, so maybe, reflect and ask yourself, was I clear with my message? And if he wasn't, also, like, so just put it out there and say, I am expecting a certain type of response. Ask and expect. You do deserve a feedback. So don't be afraid to ask for that feedback and put it there, because it's important. I believe that a lot of time people are, and I know because I'm also that type of a person, which is something I'm busy learning, and that's why I guess it was important for me to speak out about this, because I'm as well learning. But it is important to share how we feel, and it is important, first of all, to acknowledge how we feel and understand why we feel how we feel, and learn to express how we feel, like how we feel and what, and also to be able to expect a response, a feedback. So if I'll repeat it all again, make sure that you're acknowledging your feeling, and really try to understand where it's coming from. Because a lot of the time, um, you are mad or like upset with a certain person because that person is actually a reflection of something that you're doing but you're not happy with. So for example, if I'll be like upset with someone now for like not arriving on time, I need to ask myself why, because it's nagging me, because maybe I'm that person that's not always come on time, or maybe because I say it is disrespectful because I sometimes maybe disrespect you. There's different ways. So really try to think about, okay, why you feel in a certain way, because that's going to really help you to learn how to express yourself. Okay. And again, like if you, even with a business partner or like clients, if a client, for example, word something that not in a nice way, or like, express certain things, and you saw it, and you can come and say like, okay, that made me feel angry, but why? Where does it sit? Because it's really going to help you to learn to how to share what's going on, and then you won't come and blaming that other person, because you know why you are, why you feel the way you feel, and then you come to the person and you share, I feel like that this make me feel like that I'm like I feel like, sorry, that upset about this. It really like wasn't sitting, and I know why. It's because it's this and this and this, and you don't always need to share, right? It's depend, like you are the one that actually deciding how much you want to share around this, but you share it and then you explain yourself. So for the other person, first, like you will know that you got hurt, because as I said, they're not Houdini, they're not mind readers. Um, and once you do share it, you actually give them the opportunity, to show that they actually care about you, and they show you how they can maybe help you and come with a solution to the situation for you not to feel like this. Um, and it's also gonna help them, to give you a feedback like about what's going on, and then you'll know better, and then you can deal with things better. Because I think the hard part is also to show our vulnerability, right? We sometimes afraid to share our feelings because of this. I know, because I'm that person. I always feel like I need to be so strong, and I'm a lot of time avoiding my feelings. But that's why I'm learning to do it. And that's why it was really important for me to record this podcast about this topic, because, you know, keeping it all inside doesn't help. At one point, it's you will explode, and most of the chances you will explode on the wrong people, and you don't want to do it. You don't want to build up so much anger, hate, like frustration, like whatever type of feeling inside. And life is not all about like happy, happy, and smile and hoo hoo, and life is amazing. No, it's not. Okay, there's lots of tough moments in life, and there's lots of ups and downs. And as I said, life is like a kege. You're up and you're down, and from every down you grow and you go up, and then once you're feeling like so amazing, then there's another down. But that's how you keep on growing, right? But to deal with the downs, we need to acknowledge our feelings. We need to give them that space. We need to learn to listen to them. And we need to understand where they're coming from, and to learn to express them. express them with ourselves, express them and share them with others and with the relevant people. So if I'm angry at my partner, at my life partner, let's say from a romantic side, if I'm not going to share it with him, I can explode at one of my clients by mistake. And you don't want to do that, right? You can also be angry at one of your clients or your business partner, but because you're not sharing how you feel to that person, then you come home and then you come to your wife or husband or boyfriend or girlfriend, and then you just explode on them. And they don't even understand what have they done, right? They've done nothing wrong, basically. So that's why, like, you don't want to get to a situation like this. So really work on sharing and putting things out there. And just remember, okay, no one can argue with your feelings. So make sure that you say, I feel, not you made me feel. Okay. And no one knows how you feel except for you. So you really need to share it. No one have like is not a magician, like a mind reader that like they know everything. And yes, they can get maybe a certain vibe or something like this. But if you're not putting it out there, you cannot expect them to know and the answers and know how to react or what to respond to whatever type of thing that's like happening. So you really need to learn to speak out. I'm telling you guys this, but I'm also telling it to myself that it's super important. And one of the things that I do to share, so I do have my notebook where I write down to myself like my fears and how I feel, and I just write it all down, and then I let it go for like half an hour, whatever it is. I'll give it a time and I'll go back and I'll read it again. And when I'm reading it again, I know if I already dealt with my feeling and if there's something to share. And if I haven't and it is something I need to say. So now rereading it, like making maybe some changes if I need to, and then I share it with that other person, either by text or by having a conversation. So that's what I do. If you've got other techniques, that's amazing. You need to find what's right for you. And really make sure that, when you dealing with your feelings, you doing it for yourself and not for that other person. So you're not trying to look for someone to blame. You're looking and understanding why things happening in a certain way and how you can deal with this. So in the future, when a certain situation will come, you'll be in a better place to deal with. And again, don't forget, like you don't want to take your anger or like frustrations and whatever type of feeling that you got at home and bring it to the office. As well, the opposite. You don't want to take it with you from the office home. So you really need to learn to speak out and share it. And yes, life is not that easy, but it is part of the challenge, and that's how we grow, and that's how things are moving in life. So just do it. Just acknowledge things. Just say it's okay. Don't be angry at yourself when you feel certain things. Just accept it. Just let it be, absorb it, deal with it, and share with us. So I really hope that after this podcast, I've encouraged you as well as I have encouraged myself to learn to speak out more and to share.